Well, in the studio with me now is Martin Reardon, a former FBI officer and senior vice president of the Soufan Group, which is a security and intelligence consultancy group. And Martin, this is familiar ground, I presume, for the FBI. So many mass shootings occur in the United States, and then the investigation begins. Where do they start?
Well, right now, it's fully identifying the shooter. They have the name, but get his background. Start talking to co-workers, to friends, to relatives, looking at emails and other electronic communications.
What are they seeking to ascertain then about this
To see if
man?
there are other connections, either additional sales in the U.S. or co-conspirators in the U.S., or if there was a direct connection from overseas. At this point, it doesn't appear that there was, other than that he took his inspiration from Islamic State, who he swore allegiance to during the attack.
And does that make a difference to the nature of the investigation, the apparent claim of allegiance to ISIL, and then ISIL apparently accepting that allegiance after the event?
Other than the fact that it will move into the realm of an international terrorism by domestic terrorism, no, the investigation is done the same. They will follow the same steps and continue that way.
And it falls to the lead of the investigation of the FBI, which obviously means it's federal, it's not local, it's not Florida, is it?
No, the FBI will take the lead, but in all these investigations, they will work with the state and local officials from Florida because they have a stake in this as well.
The fact then that it might be deemed an act of international terrorism, what does that mean in terms of the investigation?
Really, the investigation is done the same. It's just international because if in fact he did swear allegiance, and he said he was swearing allegiance to Islamic State, that is what makes it international. But as far as will there be overseas leads, there could be. It depends on his cell phone records, his emails. Was he in contact with somebody overseas in Iraq and Syria or elsewhere?
So they'll be seeking to ascertain as to whether he was linked to a group activity or whether he was acting of his own accord.
Correct.
Individually.
Yes.
And then at what point does the FBI then make public what it's found and make a decision as to the nature of the crime and indeed what happens next? Because of course the perpetrator is dead.
He is dead, so there obviously isn't going to be a prosecution. But again, it's identifying, does he have any co-conspirators in this? Did anybody help him with the planning or the surveillance beforehand? Are there other pending attacks in the U.S.? As the information comes out, the FBI is going to release that. And again, even with the San Bernardino attacks last December, it took a few months before the FBI really had a clear picture of what was going on.
And given the current fairly febrile atmosphere in the United States in this pre-election season, this is playing into certain narratives that will be inevitably taken up by the politicians, do you think?
Yes, it is playing into the political campaign.
And the issue of gun control, of course, comes to the fore yet again.
It will again, and I think if we look at the past attacks, whether they're terrorist-related or just individuals such as up in Connecticut that just decided to do these mass killings, it will come up about gun control. But again, Congress has been adamant that they weren't going to put in any more controls.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Martin Reardon, for giving us some more detail as to how the investigation will now proceed.